My name is Sue Ashford, and I'm the Associate Dean for Leadership Programming and our Executive MBA. I was asked by the Dean 3.5 years ago to bring some coordination and coherence to our leadership programming, specifically for the MBA program. The Leadership Crisis Challenge was designed to give students an opportunity to wrestle with some questions that businesses face that are very difficult to answer. There is no right answer, rather there are a set of tensions. You go down one path, you bear some costs. You go down a different path, you bear other costs. We wanted to both give students the chance to wrestle with a difficult case, but also make them think on their feet in presenting their point of view about how to solve the case. So the Crisis Challenge is really about developing things that are difficult to develop in a classroom setting. Some of the intangibles that underlie a person's leadership, such as courage, integrity, and having good judgment. These things are often learned from experience, but experience in the real world is a very expensive teacher. There are monetary consequences, career consequences, personal consequences associated with making the wrong judgments. The idea behind the Leadership Crisis Challenge is let's put students in a situation where judgment is needed, and let's test their judgment here before they go into the world, so that any mistakes they make, any challenges they face in enacting their point of view get played out in a lower cost environment. So they get a case, and they have 3.5 hours to solve the case, to come up with their point of view about what the company ought to do. They take on the role of the top managers of that company, but the action doesn't end there. As they're working out their solution, additional game-changing emails come to them that require them to rethink or recalibrate their perspective and their planned course of action based on unfolding events, just like you would experience in a real crisis situation. Then they present their plan of action to a fictitious board of directors, role-played by our faculty and potentially second-year students. But their presentation is only allowed to be 5 minutes long. Our goal is to keep them out of their comfort zone. We know they know some things about presenting effectively. We want them to practice thinking on their feet and being persuasive in answering questions when they don't know where the question's going to come from. We prep the board to be very confrontational, direct, even angry at times in their pushing of the students. So it's a very dynamic interaction they have with the board. They then leave the board of directors meeting, and they have one more game-changing event. Something happens in the crisis, and they have to prepare a press release to respond to that latest event in the crisis. They prepare the press release, and then based on the board of directors meetings and the press releases, the best teams are picked, and they go into the final round. The final round is an actual press conference with members of the press, grilling the students once again on their approach. The teams that weren't selected form the audience, and in our setting they get to vote on which team did the best job. The press corps for us is actual journalists who come and role play members of the press for this event. And then the best team is selected by the press. The press and the faculty involved give their thoughts on lessons learned, and that's the Leadership Crisis Challenge.